Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. If you're watching this on YouTube, you probably love a good deep dive into the hidden systems that shape our world, right? Well, today we're looking at a massive, largely invisible crisis here in the United States: pet displacement. We're going to unpack this whole infrastructure that is quietly failing our best friends, straining our local communities, and frankly, costing billions. But more importantly, we're going to look at a truly fascinating, data-driven solution on the horizon that could change the whole shebang. Okay, let's dive into this.
I want you to imagine this for a second. You're driving down a dark, rural road at night, and you spot a stray dog. You pull over to help, but who do you actually call? You have no idea if they're microchipped. You definitely don't have the time or the cell service to download 3 different missing pet apps on the shoulder of a highway. And local animal control? Yeah, they're closed for the night. The stakes here are incredibly high. Why? Because the data shows that after the first 24 hours, the chances of getting that pet home drop by literally 60%. So what if saving that lost pet took just one simple text message?
To really understand why a frictionless, one-text solution is so desperately needed, we have to look at the sheer scale of the problem. 10 million. That is the number of pets that go missing annually in the US alone. It's a staggering figure, honestly. Roughly 1 in 3 pets is going to experience a displacement event in their lifetime. We are dealing with an absolute epidemic, but because it's managed on a super local level, it just remains largely invisible on a national scale.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why our current safety nets are broken. The national average for successful dog reunions is hovering right around 23%. And for cats, oh man, it is an abysmal 2 to 5%. Think about that for a second. Despite all our modern technology, if a pet gets lost and enters a shelter, it is far, far too often a dead end.
Now you might be wondering, what does this all mean for us? Well, this crisis isn't just a devastating emotional toll on families, it's a massive economic burden too. Municipalities and taxpayers are footing a $2 billion bill every single year. Yep, $2 billion, with a B. The average cost to care for a single sheltered pet has hit roughly $950. Government-supported shelters are just strained to the point of absolute collapse, frequently operating at double their intended capacity simply because they can't efficiently identify these incoming strays and get them back home.
So why is it so ridiculously hard to identify them? Well, the current system imposes this massive fragmentation tax. If you find a dog today, you got to download an app, create an account, verify your email, post to 5 different sites, and you basically need a flawless Wi-Fi connection to do it all. It is absurdly complex right when time is running out. Contrast that with the proposed solution. You snap a photo, text it to a universal shortcode, and boom, you're done. It's a totally frictionless, SMS-first universal API. It's what researchers are calling the fragmentation trap. It turns out there are dozens of amazing databases out there, but they are totally siloed. Petco Love Lost is great, but hey, it requires an app. Paw Boost needs an account. Nextdoor and Ring, they want address verification. Then you've got over 10 different microchip registries and thousands of disconnected shelter management systems. And guess what? None of them natively talk to each other. It forces panic-stricken owners to jump through all these hoops, frantically posting across disconnected walled gardens exactly when they should be out searching.
And here is the absolute wildest irony in all of this. You'd think shiny new smartphone apps and Wi-Fi-dependent networks would solve this, right? But the data reveals that 75% of lost dog cases actually happen in rural areas. The places where pets get lost the most are exactly the areas where high-friction, app-based tools work the least. The person finding a stray dog at a gas station in rural Wyoming doesn't want to create a Facebook account to report it. They just want to send a quick text.
Which brings us to a massive turning point in this explainer. The solution being proposed by researchers and network architects isn't just, another lost pet app to throw onto the pile. It's a fundamental paradigm shift. We're talking about building the literal 911 of lost pets, a universal entry point that connects every existing dataset and every motivated neighbor with absolutely no app required. It's moving away from passive microchips and data silos into a highly active, connected meta-network.
A huge part of this active network relies on proximity-based alerting. Research shows that nearly half of successful reunions are driven by immediate neighborhood searches. So by tapping into what's called the social logic of proximity, this system turns neighbors into an instant, highly effective search party right exactly where the pet was lost, with alerts pinging phones in under half a second. It completely contains the search area in real time.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we move into phase 1 of the solution. AI Face ID for pets. Yep, it's time for biometric identification.
This is the machine learning foundation designed to replace those clunky, physical microchip scanners, which, let's be honest, are often hindered by incompatible radio frequencies anyway. Plus, you have to physically capture and transport the animal to a vet clinic just to scan them.
So here's how the AI architecture works under the hood in 3 simple steps. First, the faster RCNN model detects the animal's face even if it's low light or a super messy background. Second, the ArcFace model extracts an incredible 512-point biometric fingerprint. It's looking at subtle variations in eye shape, whisker patterns, and skeletal structure. Third, a ResNet 50 model classifies the breed to narrow the search. Together, this creates a dynamic digital twin. This means the AI can recognize a pet even if it's dirty, injured, or has lost weight since it went missing. Absolutely brilliant.
And how well does it actually work in practice? 91.96% accuracy. Yes, your dog has a highly accurate, measurable biometric fingerprint. And that accuracy isn't just magic, you know? It's built on a massive dataset called PetFace, which contains over 257,000 unique animal profiles across hundreds of breeds. It's a massive resource that makes unseen animal face verification a reality, finally solving the problem of dogs of the same breed looking identical to the human eye.
But all this amazing tech is basically useless if it doesn't connect back to the shelters, right? Enter the distributed intelligence layer. This is a clever mix of official API connections and advanced web scraping. Why is this absolutely crucial? Because of human error. Imagine a well-meaning shelter worker accidentally labeling a mixed-breed dog as a completely different breed. A frantic owner searching text keywords will literally never ever find them. This unified system circumvents that completely. It bypasses subjective human labels to read the intake photos directly, matching the physical biometrics of your pet's photo straight to the physical biometrics of the dog sitting in the shelter.
Let's move to and see how this builds into reality. How does a system this massive actually get off the ground? The rollout plan is structured into a 5-phase return-to-home roadmap. Phase 1 is the Single Corridor MVP, leveraging a 3,100-mile living testbed known as the Walk Across America 2.0 route just to prove the concept. Phase 2 scales it up to regional clusters and secures data partners. Phase 3 introduces that ML unification layer we just talked about. Phase 4 scales it into a true national infrastructure, and Phase 5 achieves full civic integration, which is where cities and 311 systems natively route lost pet calls right through this meta network.
Now, the immediate pitch for all this isn't just about cool AI features. It's about immediate economic relief. It's an initiative called Return to Home in the Field. If an animal control officer or a Good Samaritan can snap a photo, text the short code, and identify the pet right there at the curb, that animal never even enters the shelter system. That saves an average of $950 per avoided intake. And crucially, it keeps those valuable cages open for truly homeless or abused animals that desperately need the space. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is this. The goal of this National Lost Pet Smart System is not to put existing databases out of business. It acts as a neutral infrastructure layer. By acting as a universal connector rather than a competitor, it takes all the incredible work already being done by Petco Love Lost, Paw Boost, the microchip registries, and thousands of shelters and simply makes them work as one unified system. It's basically the rising tide that lifts all boats.
The technology we've explored today, the APIs, the geofencing, the biometric Face ID, it's all ready. It exists right now. But shifting from a fractured, manual system to a unified, machine learning-driven infrastructure requires massive community buy-in. It requires shelters, registries, and everyday people to embrace a new, frictionless way of helping. So my question to you is, are you ready for a world where every lost pet has a data-driven path home? And that is exactly where you come in. If you believe we can fix this broken system, we really need your help to drive awareness. Please go ahead and like this explainer, share it with your fellow pet lovers, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you these deep dives into the systems that truly matter. We can totally build this network together. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.